Welcome back, and let's continue with our lesson on products and squares of binomials. So now we are going to go into the first part of our lesson, and that is the product of two binomials. So this is where we are going to be multiplying two binomials. Let's look at that more closely. So when we multiply a binomial with a binomial, we need to make sure that each term in one binomial multiplies with each term in the second binomial. So let's look at an example of this. We are going to start with a more practical example, a more familiar example, where we are using constant numbers only. So if I have 12 multiplied by 35, now I can, remember, now distribute that 12 and multiply it with first the 5 and then secondly the 30. So something like this. So this is now the 12 multiplied by the 5 and the 12 multiplied by the 30. And that's when we are distributing this 35. We know there that the answer will be, well, 12 multiplied by 5 is 60 and 12 multiplied by 30 is 360. And when we add 30 to 360, that becomes 420. So, is there another way of doing this? Let's look at the same multiplication or the same product. So we are going to say 12 multiplied by 35. Now I am going to break up 12 and I'm going to break up 35 just to see if we are still going to get the same answer. How am I going to break them up? So I've written there 12 as 10 plus 2, because 12 is 10 plus 2. Then I've written 35 as 30 plus 5. And I've placed them both in brackets. And remember, now because there is no operation there in between those two brackets, that means that we are multiplying. So we have a 10 plus 2 and we are multiplying this by a 30 plus 5. So how are we going to achieve this? We're going to do this by distributing these numbers. So we need to make sure that each term in one binomial multiplies with each term in the second binomial. We are going to start off by multiplying this way. So that's going to be the 10 multiplied by the 30 as it is shown there. What is 10 multiplied by 30? That is 300. Then we are adding it to the 10 multiplied by the 5. So what is 10 multiplied by 5? That is 50. So now the 10 has multiplied with each number in the second binomial. So now the 2 has to multiply with each of them as well. So that is going to be the 2 multiplied by the 30. So what is 2 multiplied by 30? That is the 60. And then we are adding this to the 2 multiplied by the 5. Now what is the 2 multiplied by the 5? That is a 10. So now we have 300 plus 50 plus 60 and plus 10. Have you added those numbers already? Do you know what they give you? If you are getting 420, then you are absolutely correct. And can you see how it gives us the same answer there? Now you must remember this method that we used of multiplying. How did we do it? We started with now the first ones in each bracket. That's when I multiplied the 10 and the 30. They are the first ones in each bracket. Then next I multiplied the outer ones in each bracket. Now the outer ones are the ones on the outside of the bracket. That is the 10 and the 5. That's where I got the result of the 50. Then next we multiplied the inner ones in each bracket. Now the inner ones are the ones that are inside, which is the 2 and the 30. And that's where we got the answer of 60. And lastly, we then multiplied the last ones in each bracket. And the last ones here are the 2 and the 5. And to just make it easier for you to remember, we say this is the FOIL method. The first ones, the outer ones, the inner ones, and then the last ones, just to make sure that each one multiplies with each term in each binomial. Let's look at a binomials where there are variables. So we are going to use the same method. We are going to start with the first ones. So this is going to be 3b squared multiplied by b exponent of 4. So we're going to start by saying 3 multiplied by 1, that is a 3. And then the b squared multiplied by b exponent 4. So now the b's are the same base, so that means we can add the exponents. So that is going to be b exponent 6. Then we go to the outer ones, that is the 3b squared with the 4. So we are adding here, so we are going to just add with the 3b squared plus multiplied by the 4, which is going to be a 12b squared. The variables stay that way since we are multiplying with a constant. Then we are going to multiply the inner ones, which is now, and we are subtracting because of that minus there, we are subtracting. That is going to be now the 2 multiplied by the b exponent 4. That is just going to be 2b exponent 4. And then lastly, we are going to now say that we are multiplying the 2 with the 4. And we are still subtracting there, so that is the 2 multiplied by the 4, and that is an 8. And that's how we've multiplied our two binomials, by multiplying the first ones, the outer ones, the inner ones, and the last ones, just to make sure that you've multiplied each term there. Let's look at more examples just to check if we really understand how to multiply these binomials. Let's simplify the following expressions, that is to find the product. So the first one here that we have is a plus d multiplied by b plus c. Now do you remember which method we're going to use? We're going to start with the first ones, and that is a multiplied by b. And that will give us an answer of a, b. Then we go to the outer ones, that is a multiplied by c. So that is going to give us an answer of a, c. And we are still adding there. We are now going to say the inner ones, which is d multiplied by b. That is going to give us an answer of b, d. You can also write it as d, b. Remember, multiplication is commutative, so we can swap them around. And then we can also, we'll also say now we are still adding d multiplied by c, and that is going to give us a c, d. And that is our final answer there. Let's look at the second one. Now the second one here, also still two binomials, and then we're just going to multiply them there. We have there x multiplied by 3x. So that is 1x multiplied by 3x. So 1 multiplied by 3 is 3. And then x multiplied by x is x squared. Remember, same base, we add the exponents. Then we are going to say x multiplied by a 6. So we are adding. So 6 multiplied by x is 6x. Then we are still adding because we are going to say there 1 multiplied by a 3x. That will give us an answer of 3x. And then lastly, we are going to do the last ones in each bracket, and that is the 1 multiplied by 6, and that is our 6. So that is how we've multiplied our two binomials. But again, if you look in the middle there, we do have like terms. And remember, we always simplify our expressions. So we have 3x squared. And because these two are like terms, it means we can add them. So we are going to say a positive 6 plus a positive 3. That will give us a positive 9x and plus 6. And we can see that our final answer there is a nice trinomial. Let's quickly go to an ad break, and then we'll see you just now.